My first question is regarding council merger. A first merger between the City Council of Strathfield, Boud, and Canada Bay has been halted in the New South Wales Land and Environment Code recently. Do you think this kind of block will have implication for other merger? Indeed, many within the community are dissatisfied with the lack of state government community consultation.
Look, I think the council's got every right to take whatever action it thinks, but I mean, my question back to the council would be, well, what about those millions of dollars of benefits that we expect to come to ratepayers? And in terms of the ratepayers, that's what this is about. We've got an opportunity. Yes, by having smaller head offices, we will have more services, whether it be childcare or parks. I mean, what libraries, whatever it is the local community wants. There's additional infrastructure that comes. So there's $15 million in infrastructure that can be sort of applied across the community, and downward pressure on rates, or a combination of all of those. So we strongly believe in it. We understand the action that's been taken. We will listen and respond to the action. But in terms of consultation, this has been going for well over 4 years. So we've been engaging with councils, asking them to take the initiative, asking them to see these benefits, asking them to constructively engage, and some councils have chosen not to, and that's disappointing. But we're on the ratepayers' side, and we will continue to fight for the ratepayers.
Okay, I mean, compared to Victoria and Queensland, it's too late. I mean, because they've done long time ago for council.
That's right. Yeah. No. So I mean, we've seen it done in Queensland. We've seen it done in Victoria. The benefits are there for all to see. It ultimately will deliver fantastic outcomes for communities, and we'll keep fighting for it.
Okay, thank you. After the Urban Council's allegation of corrupt behavior, the state opposition proposed to ban real estate agents and the developers to run for the council election. Do you still oppose this proposal?
We've put forward a number of integrity measures. I mean, the problem is, as soon as you start to ban one person from running the council, it's not long before you end up with a long list of people who have a potential conflict. And that's what this is about, potential conflicts. And what we have done in our integrity measures, not just in terms of donations and ensuring there's more dynamic and more regular pecuniary interest processes put in place for local councillors, we have also, as part of the legislation, asked if any councillor has any interest, not only can he or she not vote, but the council can't. So there must be an entire independent process. So what this is about is integrity in decision making, and we think the measures we put in place provide all the protections you need, and we don't want it to prohibit anyone from participating in democracy. The question is, how do you take conflict out of decision making? We think our packages do that.
Okay. Late last year, actually, one apartment block in Lidcombe, the roof of the whole block has been ripped off by the heavy storm, but the insurance company rejected the claim to repair, and unfortunately the 7 years builder's warranty has been finished. Now the people still waiting for they can't move in because of the building got a problem. The developer of that unit is the former Liberal Mayor of Auburn, Mr. Lonnie Aldrich. He rejected any claim, or he rejected to do anything regarding this issue. Is there any possibility for the social government to get involved to resolve this issue?
Well, look, obviously I'm not aware of all the circumstances of this particular issue. The inquiry into Auburn Council we have established, and we're shining a light on any practices or processes that have been undertaken in Auburn Council that aren't right and need to be addressed, and it's very clear that if there are things that have been done wrong, then obviously consequences must be faced. You know, the home building warranty scheme sort of is in place, but in terms of those individual circumstances, obviously the inquiry will do its work and make some recommendations. So I think the best thing to do is to let that be completed, and then we can consider, you know, what the next steps are from there.
Okay. If the federal coalition lose more than 5 seats in New South Wales at the federal election July 2nd, do you feel this kind of negative result will affect the future New South Wales election?
No, every election it's a great thing. It's up to every local community to have their say, and you know, whether there be change from one party to another or members are returned. Ultimately, the individual community members, they've got the right to vote and they have the right to express how they feel. So obviously these are federal issues being discussed, and it's obviously up to the federal government to put forward their case, which I believe in. I mean, I think this election is a good example of where do we go as a nation, and are we safe and secure as a nation. And the current Prime Minister has outlined a plan very clearly. It's about jobs and growth, and that you need to have a strong economy, and obviously that then provides jobs and opportunities in the community, but it also provides the revenue for government to actually put into health and education and help to build the infrastructure we need. So what's missing from Labor is there's no economic growth, no jobs growth, no plan,
just
just the spending, and I generally think that every community should be concerned about that. You need a leader that is experienced and credentialed in the economy, and Malcolm Turnbull is definitely that.
Okay. The median price, house price in Sydney has hit 1 million mark already, with Sydney becoming increasingly less affordable with regard to property. There are fears that much of the city is now out of reach for average home buyers, particularly young people. With the increased house price of Sydney, a potential hurdle for overseas investment as well. Does New South Wales government has any housing policy to provide more affordable housing?
Well, yes. I mean, there's obviously an opportunity where urban renewal is ongoing to ensure that a big mix of that's affordable housing, and the Planning Minister is looking at that on a very on both a generic basis and specific basis as individual urban renewal areas. But our number one focus on this is supply. I mean, that's how you deal with housing affordability in the long term. And the more supply you can get into the market, the better position you're in. We've spent a lot of time and money in terms of infrastructure. When we came in, our housing starts had been pretty much at 50-year lows. We've recently come right up near 70,000, and 70,000 approvals a year is a record. So I think it's only been reached 2 or 3 times in the last century. So we're right at the top in terms of supply, and we need to keep going. There's still a lot more work that needs to be done, but every single lever we can, we're about getting more supply into the market, and that's the long-term solution to affordable housing.
Okay, you focus on the supply side. Okay. Next question is regarding small business, and particularly related to Korean community in Sydney. Small business like cafe and restaurants are recently minimized as micro business, or even being forced to close due to the increasing labor cost and rental price. Do you have any plan to ease the strain on the small business or self-employed business?
Well, I think small business know that we are their big friend, and we've spent a lot of time helping them, whether it be payroll tax. I mean, since we've come in, we've actually raised the threshold, and that threshold to 750,000 has helped. Indeed, on average, it's about a $3,000 benefit to all the businesses, but we understand the importance of that for small businesses. We've also provided incentive to new jobs, so rebates, $5,000 rebates, payroll tax rebates for new jobs that come into businesses. We've reformed workers' compensation, understanding there's a need to have a sustainable scheme to look after injured workers, but also the cost of the workers' comp scheme here in New South Wales versus our peers to the north and south was much more. So the case study I use, when we came in, the premium was about $3,000 for a cafe of 12 people in Victoria, and about $4,000 Queensland, and in New South Wales about $14,000. So we've reformed the scheme, which gives us much more sustainability for injured workers, but it has reduced premiums significantly for businesses. And as of the budget coming, all mortgage duties, commercial and mortgage duties, the business security taxes come off as well. So every single day we take action, that whether it be investment in infrastructure and the knock-on impact to small businesses in the area, and obviously the overall economy, through to specific actions for businesses. I think we are undoubtedly the friends and supporters of small business.
Okay. Regarding for traffic congestion in Sydney, Sydney roads are the most congested corridor in Australia, I think, and it's continuously getting worse. According to a recent report, the only proven solution of reducing traffic is changing fee on using the road. Do you agree with this idea, or do you have any other solution?
Yeah, well, we've got a big suggestion, and that's obviously what we did the last election. I mean, look at all the cranes that are going.
Yeah.
So it's not only the main motorways, so with the M4 and M5, which would be massive expansion and enhancements, or the F3 and the M2, but it's also very clearly the investment in public transport. So the metro is going to be a massive boost to the city. It provides up to 60% capacity across the rest of the network. So we end up with much more rail capacity here in the city, much more road capacity across key links. And we're also investing significantly in the pinch points across the city. So local road pinch points, coupled with the enhancement in the main arteries, the main motorways, and the biggest investment in public transport ever undertaken. That package, you've never seen a congestion buster package like that. That's why we fought in the last election for the lease of the poles and wires. That enables us to fund it. So it's a good package. There's a lot of work to do, but as you can see, the work's underway.
Okay, and this Australia is facing the higher level of youth unemployment, and because obviously it's very hard to find a job, especially the graduate compete for unpaid internship in Sydney, in Australia, where prices are rising, and they are struggling to afford the living expenses. What plans do you have to resolve these issues?
Well, I mean, the best thing we do is grow the economy. And I mean, as you saw in the recent statistics, New South Wales, the economic growth this week, it's 3.9% over the year. There's close to 100,000 new jobs have actually come in the last 12 months. So New South Wales are more than double our competitor. So the drivers of the economy are positive, and obviously the more there are, then there's more opportunities for our youth. Right. But we also need to make sure, which we've done specifically, not only in terms of the vet sector, the vocational education training sector, the investment there, providing as many cases as possible, and we've provided 200,000 scholarships into the system, into the TAFE system, to enable those who can least afford it the opportunity. So youth who are unemployed or in public housing, we're providing free vet fees, so taking away the vet fees so that they can get a qualification and then into training. So I think that's really important. And in the major infrastructure projects we've been undertaking, we're asking the bidders to ensure that a large proportion of apprentices, so large numbers of apprentices are included as part of the contract, which gives our opportunity for our youth to not only learn their skills and trade, but obviously on part of the biggest infrastructure we're building to set up their career. So I think that package is the best way to deal with it.
Rising number of undergraduate students get private education through the coaching college or tutoring, just like in Korea. Logically, when private education expand, public education lose competitiveness, I think. How are you going to strengthen public education?
Well, I don't think you've had a bigger supporter of public education than myself and the Education Minister. I mean, our investment into the Gonski funding has provided a massive boost to education across the state. It's given more funding where it is needed most, so the needs-based funding. So we strongly believe that every student, doesn't matter what school, it doesn't matter what postcode or where they're from, they deserve the same amount of funding, and it's delivered on the basis of that need. So our most disadvantaged students are given additional funding, be given the same opportunities of every other student. So we've certainly invested significantly in terms of public education. We've provided increased opportunities in terms of the vet system.
Eastwood community has identified the need for more parking more 2 or 3 hour parking in particular. In February 2015, Honorable Victor Dominello, member for RIDE.
Very good member.
Yeah, very excellent member, and also popular. And he responded to the community call and committed to building a commuter shuttle car park on the existing RIDE car parking area in Wall Street. This plan was initially welcomed, but community members raised the issue with the proposed location and the allocation of commuter and shuttle space from the proposal of Transport New South Wales to construct the commuter car park, building on the RIDE Council parking area and neighboring 2 blocks of private land through the compulsory land acquisition. This area is located in the center of the Eastern Business District, which is arguably not a proper site for a commuter car park. So we believe the current concept plan of the Transport New South Wales should be amended or withdrawn, and we are campaigning with the Eastwood car parking petition. So any support or insight from your side could provide in this matter would be much appreciated.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, as I understand it, I mean, obviously we've committed to deliver that car park, and we will.
Right.
Obviously, the community has raised concerns about that site.
Yeah.
So Victor Dominello is working with the minister to look for alternative options. So obviously we responding to community concerns,
Right.
and you know, Victor will make sure that we address them, and the solution is one that everyone's happy with. Passionately representing his community, and obviously this will be a very good benefit to the community, but we need to make sure we get it right, you know, the right location, the right way, and certainly Victor understands that, and is working with the minister to respond and deliver that.